Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to allow 2 minutes for everyone to join. And while you're joining, you can use the chat box to introduce yourself or your business, or your business. And you can also link your social media and follow us on our social media pages as well. And then you can use the Q&A box. It's highly encouraged to post any questions you may have throughout the webinar. And we will get started at 12 o'clock. All right, thank you everyone for joining us. You're joining us for CRM Basics. I see some things in the chat. You can continue to put things in the chat while we get started. All right, welcome everyone. My name is Taya Brown. I am the Administrative Coordinator at the Temple SBDC. The Temple SBDC helps small businesses start, grow, and succeed. We do this through our no-cost consulting and a variety of our no-cost webinars and training programs like the one you're attending today. You're joining us for CRM Basics. We're recording today's session, and a copy of the recording and today's PowerPoint will be sent to all attendees within 2 to 3 business days in a follow-up email. All attendees have been muted, and we encourage you to post any questions in the Q&A chat box. Now I'll turn over the floor to Janice Crile.
Well, hello everyone, and Taya, thank you for the introduction. Just give me a moment here, and I'm going to share my screen. Oh, there we go. Okay. So I am the program manager for the Pennsylvania Digital Transformation and E-Commerce program, and I'm here today to present CRM Basics. As Taya mentioned, Temple University Small Business Development Center is here to help you in a variety of ways. We do this through our business consulting services and work through businesses from startup through succession planning. So let's jump right in today to Customer Relationship Management Basics, choosing the right CRM for you and your business. As I had mentioned, I'm the program manager for PadTep. I've had many chapters in my career, and I love working with the SBDC. So our agenda today, we're going to discuss what is Customer Relationship Management, or CRM. What is CX, UX, and CI? All those little acronyms. How to use a CRM system, where to start, and you start by assessing your business needs. Then picking a platform, and then at the end, we will have some time for questions. Taya will be monitoring the chat and Q&A throughout the presentation. So if you do have a question that is pertinent to what I'm discussing at the time, feel free to put it into the Q&A. So when I talk about a CRM, I really want you to think about it as a business tactic. You have so many goals and tactics and implementations along the way of starting your business. But CRM is that tactic that you use to interact with customers, both pre-acquisition to post-sale. So a CRM, think about it as another tool in your toolbox for managing all your company relationships and interaction with customers and potential customers. The goal here is really to help you. It's going to help you to capture those leads and move through the selling process. You're going to support and manage those relationships with your current customers and maximize their lifetime potential. Think about it for a moment. Customer loyalty cards, such as the local one that you have probably with a grocery store in your area, those CRM systems actually started approximately 40 years ago. So during that lifetime, a customer relationship has evolved. And I'm going to talk about more examples with that as we move through this webinar. So really what CRM boils down to is 4 key points. First is the customer strategy. Here you understand who your current and target customers are based on your business needs. The way you do that is through market research and insight, target customer information, and from that target customer segmentation. So for example, if there's 50 of us in the webinar currently, we're all here or could be here for one main idea, which is better understanding CRM. But what understanding is going to be segmented, and there might be within the next 3 buckets, a portion of each of us who want to be within those segments. The next bucket I want to talk about is customer acquisition. We use a CRM to acquire new customers. So we want to connect with our target customers and potential sales. We do this through our marketing and leads, our inbound activities, and our outbound activities. This is your brand. The customer acquisition process ties together your integrated marketing communication approach, which includes all of your e-commerce. So it's your website, it's your digital presence with social media, it's email marketing. All of that on how you acquire your customer is part of the CRM system. We then move over to sales and experience. So you've sold someone a wonderful product or service, and you've provided that experience, right? Your great customer service. But during that process, you also need to keep track of interactions, your sales, your product from fulfillment. So the logistics and getting your product from your warehouse or your storefront or from your online fulfillment center to the customer. How are you doing that? Are you doing that directly? Are you doing it with a third-party vendor such as Etsy? Are you doing it through a drop ship? How are you fulfilling and tracking that customer experience? And lastly, but some would argue, myself included, most importantly, customer retention. So we want to retain those customers that we've worked so hard to obtain. And how are we doing that? How do we handle any problem that they have? Whether it's with your service, is it a return? They bought the wrong size if it was a sweater. Is there a resolution, a problem? Even if the customer requested the wrong size sweater, how you resolve that, knowing the customer is always right, is what's going to be important. And in that customer retention part of the CRM, maintaining that customer base and reaching out to them from time to time to continue that relationship. So let's talk about the benefits of a customer relationship management system. The most important thing, as you'll see by our graphic, is that it centralizes all of that information so that we know that your customers are served and retained in the best possible way. There's lots of pros of using a CRM. So trustworthy reporting, you have metrics, You can understand where the customer is in the selling, where you are in the selling process, where they are in the buying process, and how you work with them to continue that level of continual sales or higher sales over a lifetime. Dashboards on these CRM systems can show you this data very quickly. We're going to talk about also free or low-cost ways to maintain your customer relationship data. That isn't going to include a dashboard, but if you're a spreadsheet savant, you'll be able to do it. We also know that a CRM system can be very, very proactive. One thing I've been inundated with the last 10 days, as probably you all have, is that I have past businesses reaching out to me about sales for Mother's Day that's coming up. Whether that was a boutique that I purchased a product from last year, a major retailer that wanted me to remember through flowers that Mother's Day is Sunday. But the benefit of that CRM is that they've tracked my movement over the years around this holiday, whether it's sending flowers out of town or whether it's buying products locally. So they've had efficiency in that automation to find out how to best communicate with me so that I can continue collaborating and purchasing their products. So with all of that said so far, just take a minute to think about it. Good customer relationship management is great for your business, but also, what does it mean to the customer? So why did a couple of you put that in the chat? So what do you think CRM means to the customer? Whether it's from your point of view as a business owner or from your point of view as a customer. Okay, I'm seeing some things going in the chat. Okay. Too many emails? One way to look at it, Lee. Organization and insight. Absolutely. Let's see. Staying in touch, dependability, keeping in touch with people who need services, engagement, ease for the use for the customer. Absolutely. Great points. All of you. Thank you. So let me continue on. Clear communication, good services. Think of how you would want to be treated, right? And thinking of those who may need some help due to a disability. So all of these points are very, very important. And what you feel as a customer, you may want your customers to feel that way also. So let's talk about that user interface, the UI that you've heard of. There's 7 C's of that customer interface, and they all go back to the center. So if you put your business at the center of this little graphic, think about it while I describe them. So context. If you're talking about the website, how's that site layout and design? And what does the content say about the services and the products that you sell? Commerce. So when we look at the user interface of a website, how does it enable transactions? Are you actively selling on the website? Or I've met with several clients this week who really didn't want to sell through the website, but they wanted to connect. They wanted that community for a couple of reasons. They truly are local. We know that websites are global, but you can choose to sell locally. And they felt that they wanted to connect, to have that degree of connection locally, but their website links everywhere else. The most important thing when you think about user interface is communication. So chatbots on a website, emails. using your Google Business profile where people can leave a comment or review, and communicating back with them if you don't have a website. All of these things are very important when we continue on the CRM journey. Next we go from UI to user experience, UX. One of the best ways that you as a small business owner can think about the user experience is to develop a persona. A persona is taking your target audience, whether you have one target audience or two, some businesses have more than one, or those segments of your target audience, and develop a persona. For example, when I look at the persona of my clients as the program manager for PadTep, they are small business owners or entrepreneurs who need to develop digital/e-commerce communication to improve their business strategies. And we can provide them with those solutions. So I call them technology TEDs, right? My technology TED knows enough to know that they're very important and they need website and they need social media. But technology TED is afraid of it. So we're going to help them through myself and my colleagues overcome that fear of social media and develop a strategy, an objective, develop those solutions through maybe a new website, developing a Facebook page. Whatever it may be, to take that user experience, I know my technology TED, and it helps me to formulate in my mind very quickly, is that a technology TED or is it an Astute Sarah? Astute Sarah is the other persona I work with. And Astute Sarah really knows what she's talking about. She's developed her own website. She's got a great team behind her. She's also selling her products and services locally with a retail storefront. But Astute Sarah still isn't getting the customers and developing the revenue that she needs to sustain her business. So we're going to work through her problems a little bit differently at a higher level. But knowing I have technology TED and Astute Sarah personas helps me communicate quickly to my team on how they want to work with those clients. Some quick statistics while you're digesting all of that and forming some personas for your own business. Let's talk about the customer experience. And every one of us on this webinar today are customers of a product or service. 94% of customers who have a positive customer experience will purchase more from a company. So that is extremely, extremely important. They'll purchase more if they've got a great customer experience. However, 20% of customers who've had a negative customer experience will purchase more from a company. So if you're the only one on the planet and you've had a negative experience with your products or services, we know that 20% will come back. But you want 94% of people coming back to you, right? And you also want 140% more spending from customers who have wonderful experiences. And we also know that 59% of customers who stop interacting with brands they love after several bad experiences. Think about the restaurants, right? You have a favorite restaurant, however, you've gone there on a really busy Saturday night and the food was subpar. Well, you decide to give them another chance, but this time you go on a Wednesday night. It's not as busy. Maybe it's not Mother's Day weekend, right? Your favorite restaurants on Mother's Day weekend sometimes, can become overwhelmed. So you give them another chance. So if you've developed that wonderful customer experience or customer communication. You know, when they've told the waiter or wait staff that, oh, the food was subpar, you offer them a free dessert. You offer them 10% off if they come back on a weeknight. Figure out what you can do ahead of time of a customer experience, whether it's positive or negative. So you've also have that in your toolbox, and you empower your team to make that decision. The last thing you want someone to do, think about the last time you've bought a car or had a horrible customer experience, and the salesperson says, just can't do it, but let me talk to my manager. 15 minutes, half hour goes, and you know, they give you a little wiggle room. Empower your team if you have employees when it comes to a customer experience that can also be tracked on your CRM system. So let me jump right into this. Just want to check the time here, about 20 after 12, so we're doing well. So a good CRM system is going to help you keep track of your customer contact information and more. And that and more is what's so important. So a CRM can help you collect, sort, and filter your prospects and client information, including the criteria in which you want to sort it. So is that by sales? Do you want to know who spent the most with you Mother's Day last year? Do you want to know who spent the most of you over a 12-month period? Maybe you're a home and garden center right now, and you're not only selling plants for Mother's Day, but you're selling mulch, and you're selling vegetable garden plants. So finding out who purchased those from you last year and saying, hey, our tomato plants look great, come on back. If you buy 6 plants, we'll give you 1 free. Using it very proactively is one way to think about keeping track of your customer information. Of course, you can use a basic Excel or Google Doc to help you create this spreadsheet, starting with the basics. So if you don't have one, and we're going to talk about some larger systems in a moment, but if you don't have a CRM system currently and you're not tracking customer information, please start simply. Use a spreadsheet. Get your customer's full name, their email address, their phone number. Do they have a website? Are you dealing in B2B? If you're working with B2B, make sure B2B, business to business, make sure you have the website. The customer type of customer. If you have a wholesale retail business, if you're working on a B2B platform, who is that customer? Are they someone in HR? Are they someone in supply chain? Of course, the purchase date, the type of products they purchased, and of course, the total cost of what they've purchased. With a CRM system, you can keep track of that, plus lots of more things. So we're going to talk about those additional things. I'm going to skip over this slide. It will be in the packet that we emailed to you. But I wanted to skip over the example so we can talk more about the tracking experience and what you need to do. But before I jump into this, if you are using any type of a CRM system, can you put a number 1 in the chat? If you're not using a CRM system, if you can just put the number 2. All right, let me see here. Okay, I'm seeing some ones that a few people are using a CRM system, and I'm seeing a lot of 2s. So great, thank you. We will dive into this more. So when we keep track of not only the products and services that customers are buying from your company, We also want to keep track of the customer experience. And that leads to brand loyalty. So companies that worked on improving customer experience saw a 92% increase in customer loyalty, an 84% uplift in revenue, and a 79% cost savings. So remember, that old adage is so true. It costs more to obtain a new client than to keep an old one happy. So we want to make sure that that customer experience is not only very abstract, but it creates brand loyalty. I have brand loyalty with several companies, both local small businesses like yourselves, as well as national retailers. And it all boils down to the experience that I have. And it's because I can almost feel them tracking both not only my loyalty, the brands that I like, but I can also see them utilizing what's important to me. And that can be such things as a reminder email that the local garden center has the tomatoes. That's a real life example that I gave a few moments ago. I love gardening, flowers and vegetable gardening. And my local greenhouse, which is just a small business owner, reached out via email to say, our tomato plants are great. Come in, buy 6, we'll give you 1 free. So what does that really cost them? Not much in the way of things. But I'm going to bypass those mega retailers on my drive to this small, locally owned greenhouse, because not only because, I get 1 free tomato plant, that's really not the point of it, but because they have given me an incentive and also have made me feel valuable as a customer. And who doesn't want to feel valued as a customer? Okay.
Janice, it looks like we have a couple questions.
All right, sure. Let me get them. Thank you, Taya. What types of CRMs? We're going to get to that in just a minute. And also, Arnold, the best for small business owners. I've got those coming right up for you. And let's check the Q&A. Can you share the template of a CRM system, please? Absolutely, those will be included. So I've talked about a lot the digital tools. Why don't I jump ahead and let's talk more specifically about the CRM systems. So they come with assessing your need. So where to start? Most importantly, it depends on you. Are you a one-person business, or do you have employees? Do you have an HR department, a project management department? Do you have a sales manager or a sales team? Analyze your needs. Start small. Any CRM is going to help you. So let's talk about that. I'm going to come back to the customer journey map and go right here on what are some wonderful CRM options. So there's a number out there, from free to incredibly expensive. Salesforce can be expensive if you have a large company, but I have to be honest, coming from a sales background and managing a large national sales team, Salesforce is incredible to use. It also depends on your level of functionality and how comfortable you are with technology. So here's a few that I like for small business owners. A Google Sheet or an Excel spreadsheet. They're free. A Google Sheet you can share with your employees, unlimited users. We have run several webinars with Google Soleil Meet, if you've ever sat in on them, and you can find past Google webinars on using Google Sheets in the Temple SBDC YouTube channel. That is a wonderful tool if you've not started anywhere else. Bitrix 24 is also great. Zoho CRM is one that I love. It's easy to use, has a wonderful dashboard. It's free for up to 3 users. So if you're a small business owner, but you want your manager or your web developer or whoever's managing your social media to also help you, Zoho is wonderful because you can integrate it with anything you're doing marketing wise. So you can track where your sales are coming from. Are they coming from your website, your retail storefront? Are they coming maybe through Instagram? HubSpot is also a wonderful tool. Now the slide says unlimited to free users. It depends on what level of HubSpot. The basic is free, but if you want to do more with it, then there is going to be a cost, but it's still very nominal, about $5 per user. These costs are usually per month, not for a year. Salesforce, in the organization I worked for, we would spend several $1,000s a month with Salesforce, but it gave us full market integration and full market data. And as you can see, there's several more. What I would say is do your homework. Most of these will give you a week or 2 weeks free, so you can try it and see what works best for you. And I also say read the reviews. Read the reviews, just like you would want to answer your reviews for your products or service. If you have a question, all of these companies will reach out and answer them. And you might find that using someone like Zoho or HubSpot, where you can integrate social media and or other marketing, is what you may need. Or you might say, nope, I'm very good at Excel. I'm wonderful in using a Google Sheet, and share those. So here's a template for Excel or a Google Doc. So really what you can do is just start with these types of columns. And we put this together for you to use. There will be a hot link to this when you receive it so that you can start using this template if you don't have anything else. So we're going to list the customers, and how you list the customers, for example, in Excel, last name, comma, first name. So if you're sending a personalized email, it's going to come up, you know, hi, Bill, hi, Mr. Jameson. The company that they work for, if you're doing, again, B2B, estimated sales, their last contact, your next contact with you, a status, and how you're getting these referrals. And across the bottom of a good spreadsheet, again, whether it's a Google Doc or Excel, you can have additional information. I also like to put in here if it's a retail customer, or I recently bought a small gift, an engagement item from a local retailer, and they asked me at the store, would I mind supplying my email address so they could keep in touch? They wanted to know what kind of interest I had, which I thought was very interesting. It was what I would call a gift store. So there were lots of different things, you know, from the good old candles to personalized gifts, some accessory items and jewelry. So by asking me what were my interests or what types of products or services I would be interested in the future, they could put that into their CRM system. And the person who waited on me was just typing it right in there. I knew what they were doing because, of course, I'm in this business, but I also admired what they were doing. And when were they done, I commented, I asked if they were the owner, and congratulating them on being very proactive in, you know, interacting with their customers. Now, the Excel and Google Docs are free tools. So if you have Microsoft 365, Excel is there. Google Doc, you can go to Google Doc, download those, and they're at no cost. But there's plenty of paid tools. And those paid tools are going to look prettier and give you a dashboard with information. And here this shows you just what it could look like. These are wonderful if you're doing higher volumes. It's also wonderful if you're selling exclusively online and you want to see where your sales are coming from geographically. Of course, you can do that from Google Analytics 4 that's tracked to your website, but then you can also download the information. And Google Analytics sometimes talks to other CRMs. So here's some of the top systems. Now, this is from Forbes from about a month ago. Things change very quickly, but these are some of the top ones that Forbes is advising for small businesses. Zoho is at the top, and you can have a free 15-day trial. Remember, with any of these free trials, when it hits that 15th day or 14th day, 21 days, whatever it may be, any data that you've put in, if you've tried it, will disappear unless you pay for that service. So make sure that if you're inputting data that you can download it if they permit so. These would be great places to start if you want to look around at the different CRMs. So when you use a paid tool, what it does, it gives you a customizable structure, but it can also be integrated with other digital tools you're currently using, whether that's with any social media, whether it's with your website. It can even be integrated with LinkedIn. One of the things when I managed a national sales team was we were using LinkedIn for prospecting. So having Salesforce.com integrate with LinkedIn was huge. Again, we were a large company, a national media company, so it was very, we had money. We had the deep pockets to do it. As a small business owner, those customizable integrations may not be as important to you as just starting to track the data. So what's the next steps? I love to create a pros and cons list for yourself, for your small business. And if you have employees or people you trust, you're working with a mentor, you're working with a consultant at an SBDC throughout the state, help them, ask them for help in creating that pros and cons list. So what's important to you? And this is just an example of a list of somebody who was searching for a home. And remember what you need. Do you need that contact management system that leads to the lead management, opportunity, Salesforce forecasting, mobile CRM? Do you want to see this data on your phone? That's extremely, extremely important. I know you're going to have a laptop, a desktop set up at your home office or in your retail environment. But while you're vacationing maybe in Aruba this summer and you want to check on your sales data, having it mobile ready is going to be important. So as you're looking at other CRM systems, keep that in mind. Do you want a dashboard? Do you want analytics? Do you want the CRM system to integrate with your sales data to show your analytics? You can look at marketing automation. That means, can you schedule in Zoho, HubSpot, Zen, so many of them, of course, in Salesforce, you can set up marketing automation where every 2 months, if someone hasn't bought a product, they get an email from you. If there's a very low open rate of that email, you do an A/B split trial of that email marketing and you send out a different one. Do you include an offer, 15% off for 2 days, for 48 hours? Do you, in that marketing automation, does it then prompt you to make a personal phone call? Yes, people still sometimes like that phone call. Or send out a text message, hey, Tom, haven't heard from you in 2 weeks. Those tomatoes are really ready. Could I put aside a flat of tomatoes for you? And I know you'll pick them up on Saturday. A good CRM system, excuse me, having a hard time here today. Let me take a sip of water. is going to include that marketing automation, that sales data, your future digital marketing campaigns. Lots of things can be integrated, but choose what's best for you. And remember, there's always room to grow. So when you're looking at one of these systems, and let's say you start off with Zoho or HubSpot and they're free, check to see what it is if you want to grow with that company, with that CRM system, and what it's going to cost you in the future. Because what we know is that you're going to be growing as an entrepreneur, as a small business owner. So we want those electronic tools in your toolbox, your website, your social media, your CRM system to grow with you. So make sure you have that availability to buy up if needed. So I'm going to go back to a couple previous slides. Well, all of you can put some questions in the Q&A or chat for me if you have any. So I'm just going to go back. Let me stop my share for a second here and pull up another slide. But while I'm doing that, feel free to drop any questions you have in the chat. Any questions?
We do have a few questions.
All right.
The first question is, do you have any thoughts on Monday Sales CRM?
Oh, yes. I don't personally have experience with it, but I have reviewed them. I think that they are a valid site. There's great functionality there, and I think there's actually affordability. You are able to do some marketing integration. So definitely would look at that. That's a good one. Thank you for that question.
The next question is, what is the difference between marketing and integration?
Good question. So when I talk about marketing, that's your everyday activity surrounding your brand. That's everything you do, from developing your logo to selling your product and service and interacting with your company. When we look at marketing integration, that's taking, I have an Excel template up right now. Excel will only input the data that you want it to. Someone like Zoho, Salesforce.com, you can integrate or upload the information from Google for Analytics into that CRM. You can upload your or plan out your social media and email marketing from someone like Zoho or Salesforce. So everything is integrated into one CRM platform. Some business owners find it easier to do that. Some like to keep it separate. So it's up to you whether you want to integrate all of those functions into one platform or if you prefer separate.
The next question is, do any of the CRM interface with POS system?
Okay. I'm looking here. Oh, POS, point of sale. Yes. So if you're using Squarespace or Square as your point of sale or Shopify, some of those systems will integrate with a paid CRM. Also, Square and Shopify have a very similar CRM system. So depending on what POS you're using, you may want to talk to their customer service to see what they have to offer you. If you like what you already have, explore options with those companies.
The next question is there a CRM system that is easier to start with than the others?
That's a great question. It depends on your comfort level with technology. I think all of them Salesforce, definitely stay away from. That becomes very, very complicated. I think that if you don't want to use just an Excel or Google Doc, Zoho is very easy to start with, as well as HubSpot and several others. I would play around with those free trials that they give you and see which one you feel is comfortable, because maybe what's easy for me is a little more complicated for others. So I would play around and recommend those free 14-day trials.
And then the last one is, I own drug and alcohol recovery houses. We use Google Sheets and track residents and costs using Excel. We are looking at one-step software. Do you have any recommendations or on other CRM for this industry?
That's a really interesting question, because I would guess that you would need a CRM system that's HIPAA compliant. I don't know right now, but you'll have my contact information if you want to shoot me an email, and I will do that research for you and see if there's anything out there for the medical field.
And that's all the questions for now.
Okay, all right. Well, I appreciate your time today. As I said, here at the Temple University Small Business Development, we're here to help you through lots and lots of questions. We have some wonderful webinars. For those of you selling, I want to point out one webinar we have coming up it's on June 7th at noon. For the first time ever, we have partnered with Amazon, and a employee from Amazon is going to be speaking on how to sell on Amazon if you're a small business. So if that interests you, you can find that webinar link on our webs or in our websites and future webinars. I encourage you to join us then. But thank you all for your time. I know we ended a little bit early, but with your busy schedules, I'm sure this is working out for you. So thank you so much.
And while if anyone has any questions, I'm going to post our survey link while you post any questions that you may have. And that survey link is about 4 questions, and it will also be sent in the follow-up email as well.
Yes, thank you, Taya. Yeah, we would appreciate you fill out the survey. The survey we report to our funders so that we continue to provide these services at no cost. So if you don't have time right now to complete the survey, please do so in the follow-up email. And there's the link for the survey. So while we're taking time to complete that, if anyone else has a question, I can stay on for another few moments. I'll pull up the chat here. Well, thank you all for filling out the survey. And Taya, I'm not seeing any questions at this time. Okay, one moment, I do see one. Okay, I'm a project manager in advertising market industry, not mass. Do I have a CRM experience? This is very helpful. Oh, well, thank you. I'm glad that that was helpful, Tanya. We have a similar background. It is very challenging choosing between different CRMs. Try the free trials. I think that'll make a difference. Okay, Taya, I think that's it for today.
All right, thank you everyone for joining us. A follow-up email will be sent within 2 to 3 business days with the materials, recording, and PowerPoint. And thank you, Janice, for presenting today. It looks like there is
I think we're good. Yeah.
Oh, okay. No more questions.
Tanya, why don't you connect with me offline, send me an email. Okay, thank you all.
All right, thank you, everyone.